Lock the door, she whispered. You mustn't let the girls hear about this. By mid-morning, the principal, Mrs. Oladipo, had been informed. She sat at her polished desk, her face set in a mask of composure. The baby lay in a small basket on a side table, sleeping. This is a very delicate matter, she said slowly, looking from Sister Felicia to Mama Bisi. If this gets out, we could face investigation, bad press, parents pulling their children out. We must be discreet. Mama Bisi's mouth tightened. Madam, that's a human being. Somebody threw away their own child like common trash. We cannot. Mrs. Oladipo raised her hand. We will investigate quietly. Sister Felicia, you will check every senior girl for signs, and no one else must know. Am I clear? That evening, as the bell rang for dinner, Rita stayed in her bunk, feigning a headache. Her stomach twisted every time she heard footsteps in the corridor. She could almost feel Tonia's eyes on her from across the dining hall earlier. Cool, assessing, making sure she didn't break. But she also thought of Mama Bisi the cleaner, who often greeted her with a warm smile. Rita didn't know if she was the one who found the baby. But if she was, what would she do with it? Would she tell? The news never reached the students as an official announcement, but in a boarding school, secrets travel faster than the Harmattan wind. By the next day, there were whispers in every corner. I heard the cleaner found something strange in the bin. They say it was a cat, dead. No, it was a baby, a real one. Rita kept her head down and her face blank, but her ears caught every passing murmur. Her hands trembled when she turned the pages of her biology textbook. She couldn't tell if the heat was burning her cheeks or shame or fear. Sister Felicia moved through the dormitories under the guise of routine medical rounds. Her clipboard clutched tightly to her chest. She began with the senior block, her eyes sharp, flicking over each girl as she asked casual questions about headache, stomach cramps, or any irregularities. When she got to Rita's bunk, Rita's pulse jumped. She forced herself to meet the nurse's eyes. How are you feeling, Rita? Sister Felicia asked softly. I'm fine, ma, Rita said quickly. The nurse's gaze lingered a moment too long. Then she nodded and moved on. But as she walked away, Rita noticed her jot something down. That night, in the arts room, Tonya addressed the circle like a general preparing for battle. They are checking everyone, she said flatly. If they get suspicious, they will do medical examination, and that means they will find out exactly who it has been. Bimbo snorted. Let them try. My father is on the school board. Tonia's eyes slid to Rita. Some of us don't have that kind of protection, which is why. She leaned forward, voice sharp. We need to make sure attention is redirected. Redirected to who? Kemi said. Tonya smiled faintly. Let's just say someone else is going to look a lot more guilty than us. Rita felt a cold knot tighten in her stomach. She didn't want to ask Tonya who she meant. She already knew. Mama Bisi wasn't a woman easily fooled. As she went about her work, she noticed things the teachers didn't. The way Rita avoided eye contact with her. The way the hall was always silent. How Tonya passed seemingly over near her like a shadow. One afternoon, as the students filed into prep, Mama Bisi found herself walking behind Rita. She studied the girl's hunched shoulders, the slight limp in her step. Something in her heart whispered, this one knows more than she's saying. In the principal's office, Mrs. Ladipo sat with Sister Felicia, the vice principal, and the school's legal advisor. We have narrowed the list, Sister Felicia reported. 5 girls showing signs that could indicate recent delivery. But we can't confirm without consent. Her parents will raise hell if we demand medical checks. The legal advisor cleared his throat. Then we must handle this delicately. Quiet questioning perhaps, and no official records. If this leaks, the school's reputation is already hanging by a thread. Mrs. Oladipo finished sharply. 2 days later, during lunch, a commotion broke out in the dining hall. One of the junior girls screamed and pointed to a small bundle hidden under a table. Inside was a blood-stained handkerchief and a folded scrap of paper with Rita's name scrawled on it. The hall erupted in gasps. Teachers rushed in, shouting for order. Rita's heart stopped. She didn't need to guess who had planted it. Tonia's satisfied glance across the room confirmed it. By evening, Rita was called to the principal's office. She walked down the corridor in a daze, her mind replaying the club night, the cramped room in her town, the tiny cries she had tried not to hear. She wanted to run, to vanish, but her legs carried her forward. Inside, Mrs. Oladipo gestured her to sit. Rita, the principal said quietly, I need you to be honest with me. This is not about punishment. This is about safety of everyone here. Rita's hand twisted in her lap. Her mouth opened, but no words came. From the corner, Mama Bisi's voice spoke up. She had been standing silently in the room. Madam, the cleaner said, her eyes fixed on Rita. I think she knows whose baby it is. Rita's throat felt tight, her chest rising and falling too quickly. She could feel the weight of both women's eyes, the principal's sharp and searching, Mama Bisi's softer but piercing and all the same. I, I don't. Her voice cracked. I don't know what you mean. Mrs. Oladipo leaned forward, holding her manicured hands on the desk. Rita, I am not here to ruin your future. But if you withhold information that could help us protect this child, you will regret it. I need you to think very carefully. Rita looked down at her knees. Her uniform was neatly pressed, but the hem felt like a shackle around her legs. She could feel the words pressing against her lips. The truth jagged and heavy, but Sonia's warning echoed louder in her mind. If you open your mouth, you are finished. And not just you. I don't know anything, she whispered. Mrs. Oladipo's expression hardened. Very well, you may go. But this conversation is not over. Tonia's grip tightens. That night, Rita was halfway to her bunk when a hand shot out from the shadows and yanked her into the narrow space between the dormitory wall and the laundry block. Tonia's face appeared in the dim light from a distant security lamp. Her lips were curved in a small smile, but her eyes were cold. You were in the principal's office, she said quietly. Rita's pulse thudded in her ears. They called me because of that note. Yes, Tonia said, her gaze locking on hers. And you didn't tell them anything. Good, because if you ever do, she leaned closer, her breath warm and laced with a hint of mint. You know how quickly a girl's life can be destroyed in this school. One whisper, one rumor, and you will be the scholarship girl who slept her way to her failure. Rita's stomach knotted. I won't say anything. Tonia patted her cheek lightly, almost mockingly. Smart girl. Very good. Keep quiet. Mama Bisi was not a woman to be silenced by closed-door decisions. That same evening, she slipped into the laundry room with a torch in her hand. She had learned years ago that dirty clothes told their own stories. She found a school cardigan with a faint but unmistakable stain near the sleeve. Not a spill, not ink, blood. The label inside read, Rita Okon. She folded it neatly, slid it into a small nylon bag and tucked it at the bottom of her cleaning trolley. She didn't know yet how she would use it, but she knew she would not let the matter die in whispers. The next day, as Rita was leaving her chemistry class, Mama Bisi stepped into her path. The corridor was empty. You need to tell me the truth, my girl, she said quietly. Rita's eye widened. I don't. Don't waste your breath, Mama Bisi cut in. I found your cardigan, the one you wrapped in the baby. Rita's face drained of color. Please, she whispered. You don't understand. I understand more than you think, the cleaner said, her voice slowly but steady. I know what fear does to a person, but this is a life we are talking about, and that baby won't survive if these people keep playing politics. Rita's lips trembled. Her eyes glistened. If I tell you, will you protect me? Mama Bisi didn't answer immediately. She just said, meet me at the laundry room tonight. Rita didn't see the second figure watching from around the corner. Tonia was leaning against the wall, her eyes narrowing into slits. By the time Rita returned to her dorm, a small folded note lay on her pillow. One wrong move tonight, and you will wish you were never born. The dormitory was silent, except for the soft hum of the ceiling fans and the occasional rustle of sheets. Most of the girls were already in deep sleep, but Rita lay awake, eyes fixed on the clock's faint glow. 11:57 p.m. She slid out of bed, moving carefully between bunks. The corridor outside was very dim, the security light casting long eerie shadows. Her bare feet made no sound on the cool tiles as she slipped toward the laundry block. Every creak, every gust of wind outside made her heart pound harder. She kept replaying Tonia's warning in her head. When she reached the laundry door, it was ajar. A silver of yellow light spilled out. Mama Bisi stood waiting, arms crossed over her chest. the nylon bag with stained cardigan on the table beside her. "You came," she said, with relief softening her tone. Rita stepped in and closed the door behind her. "I don't have much time. If anyone sees—" "They won't," Mama Bisi cut in gently. "Now, talk to me. Start from the beginning." Rita hesitated, her finger twisted, nails digging into her palms. Then, in a shaky voice, she began. She told Mama Bisi about Tonya, the club, Laddie, the money, the woman in the backroom clinic. She described the night the baby came, how she had been alone in the small dorm bathroom, biting her sleeve to keep from screaming. She told her how she had wrapped it in, looking too closely, carried it into the waist corner, and walked away. By the time she finished, her cheeks were wet. "I thought it would just go away," she whispered. "I didn't think it would leave." Mama Bisi's expression was unreadable, but her voice was steady. "You made a mistake, my girl. A terrible one. But now you have a chance to make it right." A sudden sharp knock on the door made both of them freeze. Before either of them could move, the door swung open and Tonya stepped in. Her eyes flicked from Rita to the cardigan on the table. "Well, well, well," she said softly. "I wondered where you'd snuck off to." "Shut up!" Tonya hissed, stepping closer. "Do you have any idea what you are doing? Talking to her?" She jabbed a finger toward Mama Bisi. "She will feed you to the principal, and the second she gets the chance, you are doomed." Mama Bisi straightened. "You are not as clever as you think, girl. You have been pulling strings, but they are starting to snap." Tonia's smile was slow, almost pitying. "And you think you can protect her? In this school, power protects power, and you, cleaner, have none." Back in the dormitory room, Tonya leaned so close to Rita. Their foreheads almost touched. "If you say one word of this to anyone else, I will make sure every girl in this school knows exactly what you did. And they will know who the father is. Do you want that?" Rita's eyes darted to Mama Bisi, whose jaw was set. "This isn't about what the other girls think," Mama Bisi said firmly. "This is about saving the baby before it is too late." But Tonya only smiled, the kind of smile that promised the worst has yet to come. For a long moment, the three figures, Rita, Mama Bisi, and the tiny baby, shared the quiet of the abandoned shop outside. Tonya's shadow waited like a storm on the horizon. Rita's resolve hardened. She would not run any more from Tonya, not from her mistakes, not from the consequences she had tried so hard to avoid. After that night, Rita and Mama Bisi were able to escape. Back at the school, the headmistress, Mrs. Adeyemi, called an emergency meeting. Reports from Mama Bisi witnesses and the statement Rita was finally ready to give painted a damning picture. Tonya and her gang were called to the principal's office, their confident smirks fading as the evidence stacked against them. "Your behavior is not only unacceptable," Mrs. Adeyemi said sharply, "it is criminal. You endangered a child, violated school rules, and abused the trust of everyone here." Tonya's attempt at denial crumbled under the weight of the statement and the CCTV evidence from the school's perimeter. Her gang too faced suspension and mandatory counseling. "Effective immediately," Mrs. Adeyemi concluded. "You are expelled, and local authorities will follow up." The principal awarded Mama Bisi a gift and certificate of excellence. The school celebrated her. "You have shown remarkable courage, dedication, and love," the principal said, addressing the gathered students and staff. "Your actions remind us all that heroes can come from any role, any background. Today, Mama Bisi is our shining example." Applause rang through the hall. Tears glistened in Mama Bisi's eyes, but she smiled humbly, knowing the real victory was the child in her care. Back in Lagos, Rita's mother had arrived at Mama Bisi's house, tears flowing freely as she embraced her daughter. "Oh, Rita, my baby, I've been so worried," she sobbed. Rita held her mother tightly, relief washing over her. "I'm sorry, Mama. I didn't mean for any of this to happen." Mrs. Okon glanced down at the sleeping baby. "And this little one, he'll stay with us. I'll take care of her and we'll make sure she grows up safe and loved." Rita nodded, a weight lifting from her chest. She knew she could start over, a new school, new beginnings, and that the child she had once feared of losing would now have a family to protect her. Rita transferred to another school, this time A scholarship was promised, safety, and a fresh start. Mama Bisi continued her work, now respected and supported by the school community, while Rita's mother cared for the baby, who thrived under her love and attention. Occasionally, Rita visited, watching the little girl play, laugh, and grow. Every glance reminded her of courage, choices, and the power of redemption. And as for Tonya and her gang, their days of manipulation and cruelty were over, replaced by the long, uncomfortable reckoning of their actions. Justice had been served and lessons had been learned. Hi, besties. Thank you for listening to my story to the end. This is Zeta's African Tales. What have you learned from this story? What did you think of Mama Bisi and Rita? And also, do you think Tonya did the right thing? Of course, according to me, Tonya did not do the right thing. But just tell me what you think in the comment section. Bye, guys, and see you in my next story. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel at Zeta's African Tales. Thank you so much. Bye.